All right, welcome. Today, we're diving into a theory that's going to mess with your head a little bit, in the best way possible. It takes our most basic experience, the passing of time, and asks, what if it's not real at all? Let's get into it. So, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and ask the big question. Is time actually real? I mean, we feel it, right? We measure it, our whole lives are built around it. But what if that constant march of seconds and minutes is just an illusion? Kind of like a shadow cast by something much, much deeper.
So, you might be wondering, why would any scientist even question something so fundamental? Well, it's because deep down, at the very foundation of modern physics, there's this huge, irreconcilable conflict. And you guessed it, time is smack dab in the middle of the battlefield. Okay, so on one side, you've got the two heavyweights of modern physics, and they see time in completely opposite weights. It's kind of crazy. Einstein's general relativity, it says time is flexible. It's woven right into the fabric of space-time and can literally be bent and stretched by gravity. But then you have quantum mechanics, and it needs time to be this rigid, external clock that just ticks away, the same for everyone, everywhere. They just can't both be right. And this disagreement, it's one of the biggest roadblocks in physics today.
And this is where a brand new theory comes in with a super radical proposal. It basically asks, what if we can't get these two ideas to play nice because we're asking the wrong question entirely? What if the problem is time itself, and the only solution is to just erase it from the equation? So the theory is called MFRM, and its core idea is, well, it's a big one. It says time doesn't exist as a fundamental dimension. Nope. Instead, reality is built from something called momentums. Now, don't just think of objects moving. Think of these as the most basic units of cause and effect. And our experience of time, that's just the grand emerging pattern that's created as all these momentums interact and influence each other across this vast, multi-dimensional space. Wild, right? I know that is a massive concept to wrap your head around. So let's use the brilliant analogy from the paper itself to make it a little clearer. I want you to picture the entire universe, but not as a long timeline stretching from a beginning to an end. Instead, imagine it as a vast, infinitely layered crystal. Okay, so how does this time-free universe actually work? Let's stick with our crystal analogy and explore what the theory calls the dance of momentums, because this is really where the magic happens. Let's break this down step by step. First, imagine countless beams of light. These are our momentums, the fundamental building blocks of reality. Got it? Okay, second, these beams of light are traveling through all the infinite layers of our crystal, which represents that multidimensional space we talked about. Third, and this is the absolute key, as they pass from one layer to the next, they bend, they split, they change. That's called refraction. So here's the crucial part, step 4. The universe isn't moving through time. The ever-changing, evolving pattern of these refracting light beams is what our brains interpret as the flow of time. Change is happening, for sure, but there's no universal clock pushing it all forward. So this whole idea really rests on 3 core principles. First, momentum is primary. That's the fundamental stuff of reality. Second, reality is multidimensional. Think of all those infinite layers in our crystal. And third, and this is the big takeaway, change is emergent. The sequence of events we experience, causality, it isn't driven by some timeline. It's just the natural outcome of all those momentums interacting with each other. So just stop and think about what this really means for a second. The past isn't some place you can go back to. It's just a previous arrangement of all the universe's momentums. And the future? It's not some set destination. It's just a potential new pattern. Everything, every single moment you've ever lived and ever will live is just a different arrangement of reality, all coexisting in one vast, timeless now. Now, this isn't just some philosophical thought experiment. The real power of this MFRM framework is that it actually claims it can solve some of the most stubborn, head-scratching puzzles in all of cosmology. The theory suggests that these really complex refraction processes could be the answer to major cosmic mysteries. For example, you know that extra gravity we attribute to dark matter? Well, what if it's just the cumulative effect of momentums refracting across dimensions we can't see, creating a gravitational pull we can't explain otherwise? And dark energy? It might not be some mysterious force pushing everything apart, but simply the large-scale geometric result of these endless momentum interactions. The implication here is huge. Maybe these dark forces aren't needed at all. This quote from the author of the paper, M.A. Ruiz Estrada, really just captures the whole paradigm shift perfectly. It totally reframes our view of the cosmos. It's not a system that's born, ages, and dies along a timeline. Instead, it's this dynamic living entity that is constantly and timelessly reorganizing itself. So, what does this all mean for us, you and me? If there's even a shred of truth to this idea, it doesn't just change physics, it changes, well, everything. It forces us to completely rethink our own experience of having a past, living in the present, and moving towards some kind of future. And that leaves us with one final, really profound question to chew on. If time really is an illusion, just generated by the changing patterns of momentum, then what really is the difference between what has happened and what will happen? Could it all just be a matter of perspective, a story we tell ourselves to make sense of a timeless, ever-shifting crystal of reality?